So this topic, basically, what we want to dive into today is helping you understand why you think, feel, and do the things that you think, feel, and do. Now, when we look at that topic as a whole, it can seem quite daunting. It's like, well, surely I'm made up of loads of different elements and things and thoughts and feelings, and it can be overwhelming. But ultimately, we're going to pare it back down to one simple element of our lives. And we're going to go through an exercise to uncover what that element is for each of you, because it shows up differently for different people. Now, this thing that we're going to uncover, or these things that we're going to uncover, they drive why we like certain people, why we enjoy certain experiences, why some things would make Clementina laugh, why some things would make Josh mad, why some things would confuse Felipe, and why some things Karina would absolutely fall in love with. That's what's going on underneath all of this. There's a couple of key elements that make all of us different and unique, and it's why we're drawn together with some people and pushed apart by others. And what that is our values. We all have values, and we make our decisions in life, and we base our thoughts on these values. Now, some of us know we have values, but we don't know what they are. And some of us don't even know that we have values that are driving us. And we're going to go through a really quick exercise in this call to uncover what those values are for each of you. And also, we're going to then dive into figuring out, okay, how do these values show up in your life? How do they explain the things in your life that are working, the things in your life that are not working? So that's the premise of the whole thing. We're going to do a quick exercise, which is going to be timed. And then we're going to dive into it. So, and I'm going to be a Nazi with the time, so no fucking around. Right. I'm going to share my screen, and on this screen is going to be a list of values. And I want you to scan through these values. Okay. And I'm going to give you, can you all see that okay, yes? I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and you're going to pick 6 of these. And that 2 minutes starts now. So these are your values. These are things that you want to feel or you want to be.
That I want to be, or things that I'm feeling right now, like
things that you feel right now, things that you value.
Okay.
30 seconds gone. And this makes for fascinating viewing for everyone in the Facebook Live. And actually, at this point, anyone watching the Facebook Live, actually watching it live, do this exercise as well. And if you're not watching it live, do it as well. Pause the video, take 2 minutes, and spend the time, because this is where the value is. So you're picking 6. 1 minute to go. Forty seconds to go. 6. 25 seconds. 15. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, now you have 30 seconds to remove 2 of those, leaving your top 4. Starting now. You're taking it from 6 to 4. Which values mean the most to you on that list? $15 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3. Karina, you show off. 1. Okay, time is up. Now you have 20 seconds to narrow it down to your top 2, starting now. Eight seconds to go. Karina nailed it. 3, 2, 1, and okay, stop. I feel like I'm on a game show. Stop cooking. Righty. Let's go round. Let's reverse the order. And Josh, we're going to go round everybody just to share your top 2, and then we'll dive into it a little bit more detail.
Right, top 2 is confidence and fun.
Brilliant. Felipe?
So freedom, and then I can't choose between love and support, because I love what I support and I support what I love. So
Felipe, you had one job, Felipe.
freedom and
3, 2,
support.
1. Freedom and support. Brilliant. Karina?
Connection and learning.
Excellent. And Clementina?
Freedom and accomplishment.
Nice. So freedom showing up. Brilliant. So Josh, tell me how much those 2 values. So your 2 values were confidence and fun, yes?
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not going to remember everybody, so just to set that expectation.
So firstly, I went for fun because I feel it encompasses a lot of sub-values under that. Like it can cover lots of avenues. So that just seemed like a natural thing for me to go towards. And confidence is something that I've built a lot on more recently. And I can see myself develop and grow and feel a lot better about myself the more confident I get. Like I feel like growth and confidence has this kind of like compound effect. The more confident you get, the bigger it grows. And it's just something that I'm working on a lot at the minute. And I think so I've naturally gravitated towards that one as well.
Nice. And were you surprised that those 2 came up?
Well, it wasn't easy. Yeah, I mean, I felt it's a tough one because a little bit like what Felipe said at the beginning, it's like, are we choosing ones that we are or what we value? Like, you know, there's been times when confidence let me down in the past, but I want to be confident. So it's like, yeah, that's where I want to get to. So it was challenging, but that's just something that stuck out, and I think that's what makes this exercise so good. It's like you're going with your gut feeling, and it's just like if something is sticking out like a sore thumb, you go for it.
Brilliant. So talk us through very quickly how has confidence played a role in your life in the last X number of months or years? Why is it something that's at the forefront now?
Well, I've recently joined an organization which helps you with your public speaking. So I've kind of been thrown on stage, almost like pushed into the deep end. And being a business owner, you want to be able to communicate effectively in front of audiences, whether it's one-on-one, 1-on-5, like we're doing here, or 1-on-100. Maybe we've got 100 viewers watching this Facebook video. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But I literally joined this organization about 8 months ago, and I got put in front of an audience and it frightened the life out of me. But even just doing Zoom calls in front of a fair amount of people, like the last one was about 70 or 80 people, I completely overcome those fears, and I can really feel the benefits of being confident, and I can see development in myself and be able to communicate in front of people. And you know, I had a lack of confidence. I didn't have any faith in myself, but I've kind of overcome what I thought was something that was ingrained in me, like similar to dyslexia or something like that. I felt hard to kind of get my words out and speak in front of audiences, and I kind of washed away all of those weaknesses now. And there's still a long way to go, but I'm definitely going in the right direction. So yeah, very clear for
Fantastic.
me.
That's a very inspiring story. So is it fair to say that confidence means something to you fairly unique, and it's fairly emotive? It has triggers.
I'd say so, yeah. I'd say so.
Awesome. Well, let's come back to that.
I mean, like, you know, there's others which, you know, I value as well. I'm like, shit, should I maybe go on with that one? Like, the fact I haven't got love in there, it's like, does that mean I don't love anybody? But so like, it was a sacrifice, and it's, you know.
And
So
love got the boot.
It got the boot. So, you know, I'm a hateful person. I hate you all.
Brilliant. I love it.
You
Okay.
are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's
Oh
it.
God, I haven't heard that for ages.
You need to do the
Cool,
wink.
Yeah, and the nasty little wink. Brilliant. So Josh, we'll come back to that. We'll touch on that in a second again. Felipe, was there any surprises, Felipe, in your final 3/2?
Yeah, so I've also made a last minute adjustment. I've gone back to love instead of support. So freedom and support. I was struggling, like I mentioned, thinking about things that I value, things that I think that I value, things that I should value, things that I want to value, or things that I do value. And then it's funny, as I was making the selections and cutting, freedom and love pretty much fall into all those categories, in the sense of I think I should have it, I do have it, I want to have it, I want to have more of it. And similarly to Josh, in freedom, I feel like freedom encompasses fun. So that's why I like that, because I have the freedom to have fun.
Can I change mine?
So yes, I like to have freedom. I like to have options. I like to choose. And then love has always been a huge important motivating factor for me. I love to share love. I love to help others. I love to go out of my way to, you know, make a difference in people's lives, and that really fulfills me. So yeah, so freedom and love, I definitely would go out of my way to have those and to give those.
And to what extent do you feel like you have, let's say, love for a starter? To what extent, let's say out of 10, do you feel like you have love in your life, or you're living that value?
Right now, I don't know, like 6, 7.
Okay. And where could you increase that, or what action can you take? How can you live into that value more to increase that score?
Gratitude, awareness, and focus.
They sound like you've just read them from a book.
It's not that it's not there, I guess.
Sounds like that was quite a head answer, wasn't it? Did you just answer that from up here?
Maybe.
Sounds to me like you did.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is I want you to think about this on a deep level, because the answer I got from you, that what that felt like was a memorized or vaguely robotic answer. Well, if I do gratitude, if I do this, if I do that, then I'll have more of it. And it's like the thought is going down here and then it's kind of stopping. My guess is there's a kind of protection mechanism in there that's stopping it going any deeper, to stop that connection on a deeper level.
Okay. Not too sure how to, because like when I think about it, I know, you know, my wife loves me. I know I have very close friends that love me. I know people. So that's why I say gratitude, just being conscious, being aware of it, and then allowing what's already there to reach me at a deeper level, rather than having to create something that's, because it's definitely already there. It just needs to sharpen my awareness to it, I guess.
And what about for
Maybe
yourself? What about love for yourself? How does that show up?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe work on that a little more, or accept that a little more.
Accept what?
Accept the love. I don't know what to say.
This discomfort you're feeling right now is what you need to lean into. because obviously
Yeah.
nobody loves talking about their own love and self-love in front of people they've never met and, you know, other people watching. So I appreciate you being honest with me. But that discomfort, that fidgeting that's happening on this topic, there's a reason that's there. And rather than doing what we sometimes do when we feel it, you know, when we're skiing down a slope and we see danger, what do? We lean back, and then we're out of control. We've got no fucking chance. What I want you to lean into that. When you feel that awkwardness cropping up, whether it's talking about love and connection with yourself or self-acceptance, whatever it is, feel that and be aware of it. We're talking about awareness again, and go, oh, interesting. That's just cropped up. And then go, where's that coming from? And then lean into it, because like I said, your greatest gifts lie next to your greatest pains. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also freedom.
Thank you for sharing. And freedom. And freedom. Good stuff. Karina, could you share yours again?
Yes.
and share with us any surprises or insights?
So the two that I picked are connection and learning. And I feel like you guys said, it includes some other ones that we saw on the list. And I think that when I'm not feeling connection or I'm not learning something new in a given day, I don't feel as fulfilled or as happy. And I'm always looking to have that in every day, like learning something, like reading. And that's why I said personal growth is very important for me. So whether I'm meeting someone new on a Zoom call or just learning a new recipe and then I try to cook something new, I'm always learning. So I think that is, that's great to know that, it's important value for me that I have to learn. I love learning. And connection, it's very important. Like I could have picked love or support. I think they're very, very similar. So for me, having a connection with even with cooking, right? or with someone, like it doesn't have to be a person, but a connection with something that I care about. Even when I'm meditating, I'm having a connection with my inner self. And so I think in everything I do, those are the core values that I implement.
Tell us about your, thank you for sharing that. Tell us about your coaching briefly. You said you just signed a new client this morning. Well done.
Yes, I'm celebrating.
Tell us how you're going to impact their lives. Tell us what has drawn you to working with that person.
So that's a very good example, because when I met this person, we were just chatting because we got matched to talk. and we started talking about our interests, and it turns out that there was a connection there because we had a lot of similar values and similar stories. And I was telling that person what that program was for me, like how I transition, and how amazing the stories I have with other people going through my program. And he was excited and was like, okay, let's do it. I'm like, awesome. I was not looking for a client. Like I didn't want to sell something to him. I was just sharing and having a real connection with that person.
You were connecting. So can you see how, without you even being consciously aware of it, your values played an integral role in every single step of that journey? You connected with somebody, and then when you connected with them, you could connect on a deeper level because you had the same values.
Yeah.
And then you realize how much you wanted to help them, because you're living your values and you want to help them live their values more, and they want to be living those values more as well. They want to connect with themselves and with you. They want to grow as well. They want to learn, and you're in a place to do that.
Yeah, it's important that they want to learn, because if they are in a fixed mindset, it's like, I don't have that connection, and I feel bad when I am speaking with someone and there is no connections. Like, I cannot build rapport, and it's like, no, I don't like it. So yeah, those are very, very important.
Brilliant. So take those into your, and all of you, this applies, especially with this, relationships are a big one when it comes to values. Bear this in mind. Like, take a stock check of your current environment and the people you're closest to, and have a look and go, right, are they sharing my values? Like, why am I drawn to some people? Why do I not want to spend time with? Why do some people repel me, and vice versa? And you don't have to look much further than the values that they have. Awesome. Thank you. Clementina?
All right, thank you. I choose accomplishment and freedom. And this is something, these two factors are something that is connected to my past, to my present, and to my future.
Nice.
And also what I'm called to do in this life. Freedom for me, it's about not being attached to anything, totally not attached to codependency, not attached to other people's validation, but rather self-love, unconditional love to myself first and to others. Being able to put other people into a perspective where I know that my action and cause and effect create something in them. And accomplishment is part of what I call my responsibility to my self-happiness. I hold myself, me alone, that responsibility. And every soul I touch, being able to deliver, being able to be, to provide a validity, credibility for myself and for others. And I didn't just pick this like this. It's not based on belief system, but it was based on deep past experience. I don't know, I'm going to share with you guys, and I think it's better it's out there, because some people don't know when they're going through something. They think it's my relationship, my toxicness, or bad decisions. But I think each experience will learn something, each whatever we go through. I went through dark night of the soul. And that took me 10 good years. And what I discovered was really, it's a long story, but I'm going to make it short. Accomplishment, it's when you've been satisfied and holding yourself accountable for everything you do. And especially the lives of people you touch, and for yourself. Being satisfied enough to know that I alone am enough. And when you grab that, every external thing that comes with you comes with gratitude, love. You have to have this unconditional love from you for yourself to be able to know you can capable to love another, in your spouse, your friends, your family, your kids, all that. I'm going to stop there because this is deeper than.
No, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. That means a lot. Tell us, if you would, why, has there been a moment in your life when you didn't have freedom, when you were codependent, when you were restricted? What did that look like, if you wouldn't mind?
Like I said, if you know Dark Night of the Old, guys, you can write. It's important, because I realized for the past 5 weeks people don't understand it. Well, I felt bounded, confused, minimizing myself to people validations and values, pouring out myself all the time to satisfy others because I thought that was love, but it wasn't love. It wasn't love. It was like cutting down who I am. Mm-hmm. And I started creating self-doubt. Like, what's the other guy? He has a lot. You have a lot of features. You want to be here. You want to satisfy this. You don't have even this moment to say no, because you just care so much about them, but who cares about you? What about you? And this
And how? And,
rejection that I felt, not only love, but also for family. I mean, when it goes from every Maslow theory of needs, all those steps are broken. One is broken, everything is broken. So yes, I went through really, really something that could really crash down the old system and recycling system. And now I was able to build that up on my own. On my own. When you go through the dark night of the soul, nobody, no psychiatric, no psychology, nobody can help you. You need to pick up yourself. It's gonna take time, and that's it.
thank you. And how does it manifest now? Because what I'm hearing is there's a major desire to be responsible, to be extreme accountability, extreme ownership. Do you allow people into your life who could energize you and support you, or is it a case of
I choose?
And what do you choose?
I choose people who share my vision. I choose people who have the same values with me, and even those who doesn't have the same value or vision, I send them unconditional love and tell them that, listen, I love you as a person, I like you, but I just can't have you in my inner circle. Why? Because I think we operate on the friend level. No conflict, nothing, just being honest, transparency, like that. Because you need to choose your people who are ready to pour into your life. But I also help people and disconnect. I help and disconnect. Because you carry this kind of energy, people wants to come into your life. And especially my life coaching, because I didn't state what exactly my segment group. I deal with people with depression, trauma, people who are coming out from or experiencing emotional and psychological pain, and also personal growth. But this is the route. If you're not ready to change, if you have not come to the place like I am sick and tired of where I am, I want to change, at least a transition, then you are not my client.
I love the clarity. So, obviously with time, we haven't got to, I'd love to go deeper into that. What I'd love you to do, and this, you may not need to, but just to throw it out there, because you know what they say about assumptions. So often people, they go through a phase in their life where they are codependent, where they feel like they are tied, their success, growth, happiness is tied to too few things. And then they go the absolute opposite end of that spectrum. They rebel and they sever all ties. And sometimes people forget that the people around them, the right people around them, are actually the things that will energize them more than anything else. And being codependent and being isolated are two very different things. So again, you may not need to go through this, but just throw it out there. Just have a look at your environment right now and just see. You said you've got an inner circle. I want you to make sure that you have people in there that you can lean on, because it's okay to lean on people every now and again. It's okay to need support and to gain energy from other people, rather than I'm just going to go it alone, because we're creatures who love to connect. Thank you for sharing that. So Josh, talk me through very quickly about your current, on that topic, on environment, your inner circle, so to speak, the people you spend time with. Are there people around you can see that share those values, or is there a disconnect in any way? Or
yeah, absolutely. My business partner, who happens to be my best friend, which has created a few areas of conflict over the last 5 years, as you'd expect it to be. Everyone said, look, you've got to be careful what you get into if you go into business with your business partner. But I think the way we've grown over the years is like a testament to how well our values are aligned. We have the same vision and we share the same values, and that doesn't mean you're never going to have a disagreement. It just means how stronger you are afterwards, right? So I mean, definitely somebody in my inner circle who I lean upon a lot.
That's awesome. That's a very powerful thing to have. That's brilliant. So now, hopefully, did you have the awareness that the values are aligned, or was it just a case of, well, this feels good and we seem to get on, so let's just go with it?
Yeah, we did. I mean, our first business was we kind of fell in that position, and we were working for an organization where we felt we were getting poached by a few customers, and we felt we could do it a lot better than what was currently going on. So we're like, let's start a business and let's do it ourselves. So we did that. And then it was successful. And then we kind of realized that our why wasn't quite in the right place. So like, let's stop this and let's do another business. We got our heads together, and that's where we really kind of got our values on paper. And we created, we put our visions on paper. We took a step back and we felt, well, this is brilliant. Like, this is both what the direction we want to go down. And it's at that point, yeah.
And do you have enough fun?
Maybe, is there such thing as too much fun?
I don't know. I haven't found it yet.
No. Yeah, we have enough fun. The fun definitely outweighs the hard times, put it that way.
Brilliant. The reason I asked that is because when you're building a business, especially two, it can be consuming, can it not? It's like our life depends on it. It's what brings in it meets all of our needs. It provides all of our financial security, our significance, our identity, and then we kind of forget the fun stuff and we treat it as an indulgence rather than a must.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, it's also, you kind of got to make people within your friendship group aware of that somehow as well, because they don't realize what you're going through. So absolutely, it's, you can kind of unleash it on them sometimes if you're going through a particular stress time and you're not getting the support you want from your business partner, and it's and then you kind of take that from your business and you bring it somewhere else. I guess it's important to kind of identify that, what's going on, and make sure everyone's clear.
Absolutely. And it comes back to awareness, like we talked about at the very beginning. It's not what happens to us in life, it's how we react. And when we have awareness over why we reacted in a certain way, we can't necessarily take that time back, and we don't necessarily need to judge the way we reacted, but at least we can have the awareness to say, oh, right, that's why I reacted in that way. Someone's values were misaligned. I felt like one of my values was being taken away from me. I want support and I didn't feel like I had it. Someone's stopping me having fun. Someone's stopping me connect. And that's when we react. So it's about having that awareness and making sure the people in your environment, to a summit, you don't obviously all want a bunch of clones around you, but you want people who share a couple of the key values who you can count on, and they can count on you.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. And also be aware, guys, that, like say, you don't want a bunch of clones around you. You don't want the two people. A bunch of clowns would be fun, actually. That would help you meet that need for fun, unless you're freaked out by clowns like I used to be as a kid. It's about realizing that there are some people in your life who are going to meet the need for growth. There are some people in your life who meet the need for connection. Like, I've got some friends who I can connect with immediately on a deep level. And then I've got some friends who are just the fun people. They're the ones who would go out and get shit-faced with and make a fool of myself. Then I've got the traveling friends, and I've got the skiing friends. And you've got all these different people who share different values. And some of them overlap more, which is probably why they're your best friends. And some are just like, oh, okay, well, they have these values and I'm going to expect that from them. Or, sorry, that's the wrong phrase. I'm not going to expect other values from them because that's not the role they play in my life. So your business partner can be the fun person, it can be the growth person, but then another person in your life can be used for something else, and then another and another. And it's about having the awareness of all these people and all these values that you're surrounded by. Nice. So, Felipe, pick one of your values. No, I'm going to pick it, actually. I'm going to pick it. I'm going to pick love. You knew I would. What can you do to bring more love into your life? And I don't want a head answer. What can you do to bring more self-love into your life?
A good question. I don't know. Self-acceptance, self-awareness, meditation.
Have you gone on a journey or a journey of self-discovery where you realize where it's coming from? where sometimes the lack of self-acceptance, which we all face, by the way, have you ever been on that journey to discover where it comes from?
Yeah, kind of.
Awesome. You don't need to share that, don't worry, because obviously from a timing point of view, but I just want to bring that
Yeah.
up because I want you to look into that. I want you to dig around in that, because there's something there.
Yeah.
And share it in the group as well. Any of you, by the way, if you learn anything from this, any insights, you have any revelations afterwards, please share it in the group, because it does help everyone else.
Well, I guess like a lot of things. I mean, when you're a kid, if you don't get enough of something or too much of something, it's gonna leave some long-term signs in your blueprints, in your way of thinking, in your subconscious mind. So yeah, definitely from childhood.
Yeah, it usually is. So what I'd love you to do is surround yourself, if you don't already, and again, we haven't got time to dive into this, but make sure that you take a check of the people around you, and we're coming back to the people again, because this is massive. Make sure you've got people in your life that you see or connect with on a deep level who understand that side of you and support you through that, and vice versa.
Love you too, bro.
Indeed, love you, pal. Love it. So guys, we've gone over, but only by 5 minutes, which I'm very impressed by. Well done, Jim. Thanks. Again, there's so many rabbit holes we could go down here, and I loved hearing all of your stories. And what I'd love you to do is this is the first step, is just raising awareness as to the choices that you've made, the reasons why you're drawn to some people, the reasons why your business meets your needs or doesn't meet your needs. I want you to take a step back, and I want you to dive into these values on a deeper level and say, okay, how much of these values are things that I wish I had more of? How much of these values I want to help other people with? How much of these values I want to surround myself more with? Because my guess is there's going to be room for growth in all of those areas. And then have a look at your environment and say, well, who are the people around me that I spend most of my time with, or at least connect on a deepest level with? Do they share these values? And if so, or if not, which values do you think they have? And rather than try and change that person, who else could you bring into your life on a greater level that's going to fill that bucket? Let's say you've got you're going out with or married to somebody who doesn't share the same need for growth, just for an example. How can you look at that rather than trying to necessarily change that person? How can you live into your value of growth, but without putting too much pressure on changing that other person? How can you lean on somebody else in your life who does already have that value and is going to thrive on the fact that you're pushing them? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what I'd love you to do is I'd love you to, and by the way, anyone at home, anyone watching on the live, all the same goes out to you guys too.